Hi everyone, Bill Duvendack here with the August 2022. Are we sure that's the year? Monthly astrological preview video, so get cozy. As has been the pattern for the last several months, really August starts with the new moon that happened a few days before on the 28th. That occurred in Leo. So if you've noticed some changes, if you've noticed some, uh, how do I put this? Creative juices flowing, but at the same time, people getting arrogant around you, that's the new moon in Leo. So it's a good time for new beginnings, especially creative projects. But you might run into a person or two that really has their ego issues put on display now as well. So just kind of watch out for that. But as always, focus on what you can control rather than what you can't. So indulging your creativity would be smart to do as August starts. Now, on the 1st, it's all about hard work with a grand trine in Earth, which includes the moon in Virgo and Mars in Taurus. So definitely get ready to get the lead out as August starts. It's going to be all about hard work for the month. And the thing about this month in particular is that when I was putting this together, I saw a lot of grand trines. So it's a good time to focus on new beginnings. It's time to lay the foundation for the future. Not necessarily a month of seeing things. Good God, I need more coffee. Not necessarily a month of seeing things happen like that, but rather what you do now, what you put in place now, will manifest later. The 2nd and the 3rd, we see a little bit more challenges with the moon in Libra opposing Jupiter in Aries on the 2nd and squaring Venus in Cancer. So over those 2 days, the 2nd and the 3rd, the moon becomes the trigger. And that trigger is, number one, reevaluating prosperity and expansion. So what it means for you, how you achieve it, how you get it. And then the moon square Venus part in Cancer is saying that there might be challenges and opportunities when it comes to the love life and the romance. Now, this might also include female family members. So siblings or cousins that you might be close to, there might be challenges there. So kind of watch out for that. On the 4th, we get Mercury moving into its own sign of Virgo. So the 3rd, the 4th, and the 5th might bring communication and technological challenges. But overall, after that, you may find that your communication is on point, that you're very detailed when you speak, but also that if you're not careful when you're angry at someone, you might be overly critical. So watch out for that. The 5th and 6th brings the moon triggering more things into action. The moon in Scorpio opposes Mars in Taurus, so watch out for accidents. Watch for that short temper bleeding over into words that cannot be taken back and other problems like that. and then it squares Saturn in Aquarius on those days as well, meaning that it's a good time to reevaluate how you interact with society. So, look, I'm sure you've seen a lot of this in these last few monthly preview videos, my daily horoscopes on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, and the monthly horoscopes on my website and the website of Pathways in St. Louis, where I'm talking about people reevaluating their roles when it comes to society. Now, most of this, yes, of course, is astrologically triggered because we've had Saturn in Aquarius for quite some time now. So these themes keep coming back up. That's where I get it from. I'm not really pushing an agenda with regards to that because it's just right there in the sky. The agenda that I am pushing, though, is encouraging you to get out and involved in groups. The reason for that is nobody is an island. In the United States, the phrase e pluribus unum comes to mind. Out of the many, the one. So for those of you that are antisocial, this is not a good time. Sorry. With all this Aquarius activity and Aquarius focus, it's all about group participation. And it's going to be that way, not just until Saturn leaves the sign here in several months, but also while Pluto is going to be going through Aquarius, which starts off in the near future in a few years. So Saturn comes along and makes us reevaluate our role in society and in groups. And about the time it's exiting, Pluto comes in and says, okay, you've done the reevaluation. You've got together with groups that are more like who you are now. Now let's use this energy to transform society and to transform the planet. So, introverts, good luck with this. People that are antisocial, good luck with this. People that are extroverts and enjoy group activities, this is your time to shine. Now, the key here is to keep in mind context. We just had 2 years of COVID lockdown. Many people are itching to get back out now, but I know just as many people who want to stay withdrawn now. And those people are the ones that are going to have a hard time. And this is not my opinion. This is what's going on with the Aquarius activity that has been going on for several years and is going to continue to go on for many, many more. I point this out because I want you to know that, yes, now is the time for all of us to get together. Now is the time for all of us to rise as one. So if that's not on your agenda or your to-do list now going forward in the next couple of years, then you're going to find that the world passes you by and there ain't going to be a lot of people crying for you. I will be crying for you because I want to see us all succeed. But you can't choose to not participate and then get the same rewards as those that do. That's just illogical and immature. So, with a lot of what's going on in August, yes, it may cause you to reevaluate your groups. It may cause you to take a second look in those group activities and your role in the context of the greater society at large. But at the end of August, this does not mean go back to the way you were at the beginning. It means getting invested in things, getting active in things. And this month, it's especially true because we've got the sun and other key planets moving through Leo. Leo is the opposite sign of Aquarius. Leo is largely doing what is best for you. Aquarius is doing what is best for the group. So finding that middle balance between the two, taking those days to do what's best for you versus taking those days to do what's best for the collective. Finding that balance internally is a major theme of August, and it's different for each of us. So on the second and third, we get a little glimpse into that with the moon opposing Jupiter and the moon squaring Venus, because as we step out and reconnect with that greater stage, it may cause ripples. We might not want to jump off the deep end to get invested in some communal activity. We might want to take baby steps to do it. And that's okay. That's fine. But at the beginning of August is when we have our attention drawn to this and how we should proceed. With the fifth and the sixth, we see Mars in Taurus, like I was talking about before, opposing the moon Scorpio and squaring Saturn in Aquarius. During these 2 days, it's a good time to reevaluate your wounds. It's a good time to reevaluate your healing process, and you may find that challenges come up while you're doing these things, and that's okay. That's just the way it goes. On the 6th, we have a water grand trine between Venus, the moon, and Neptune. So it's a good time to develop your spiritual skills. It's a good time to develop your psychic abilities. Also, watch out for your emotions. They might be stronger than normal. You may find that situations having to do with romance, emotions, and feelings are more challenged during this time. But challenged in that they're stronger within you, so it takes more of your energy and attention to deal with. Now, the 7th and 8th, that water grand trine is followed up by an air grand trine between the sun, the moon, and Chiron in Aries. Now, also on those days, we have Venus sextiling Mars in Taurus. So, to break everything down, you may find you've got higher energy levels than normal the 7th and 8th. You may feel like your connection with divinity is stronger than normal. You may also find that the romantic life is moving along quite well. And if not the romantic life, then just the close, intimate, and personal friendships that you have are rolling along nice and smoothly. Now, the thing about it with all of this activity, not just the fire grand trine on the 7th and 8th, but also Venus sextiling Mars, and all of this coming on the heels of the water grand trine, it means that the 6th, 7th, and 8th may be kind of challenging, going from strong emotions to anger, or going from psychic development into putting your spirituality into practice. But if you maintain a level head and you do what you need to do, you're going to come out the better for it. But not until the full moon on the 11th, because the ninth sees the Venus in Cancer opposing Pluto in Capricorn. So those same situations, those same romantic and emotional situations that were smooth on the 7th and 8th might get challenges brought up on the ninth. But also on the ninth, we have a grand trine in Earth between Mercury, the moon, and the Uranus North Node conjunction. And I point this out because, as you can see, the 6th, 7th, and 8th is all kinds of good feelings, all kinds of good aspects going on. And then the ninth says it's a fantastic time for reevaluation, and you won't know it until those things are challenged and then come up. But on the ninth, it's also telling us it's a good day to put all that emotional, spiritual stuff aside and get to work. Straight up work. Roll up your sleeves, get the cleaning supplies out, reorganize, manifest within the home. Anything like that would be good to do on the ninth and the 10th. The 10th continues that same theme with Venus opposing Pluto. So you may find burying yourself in your work is a good way to proceed. And then on the 11th, we've got the full moon, depending on where you're at in the world. And we have, it's hard reading your own notes sometime. we have what's called a fixed sign T square that begins on the 11th. This is happening between the sun, Uranus, and the moon. Now, T squares are challenging patterns, so you might find that the 10th, 11th, and 12th are more challenging days than most. You may find that things are not calm and not quiet, and that's exactly the way they're supposed to be. T square patterns are all about agitation, shaking things up. So if you imagine that your life is lived in one of those snow globes, then a T square is when the snow globe gets shaken. So it may be a challenging full moon, but we come out the better for it. It just takes a few days for all the energy to settle after it gets kicked up on the 11th. The 12th, we have the moon and Saturn uh, opposition. And what that means is that you might feel torn between doing what is responsible and mature versus what is emotionally feeling good. Also, on that day, we have Venus moving into Leo. And on one hand, that's absolutely fantastic because it means you're going to get a second wind of those creative juices. However, on the other hand, this can be a handful. People with Venus in Leo tend to be proud of their partners. And I say partners here because it doesn't necessarily have to be romantic, it can be business partners that the Venus in Leo person is proud of. So it doesn't have to be romance. It usually plays out that way, but it can be proud of a friend who's made amazing strides in growth. But this also means make sure you're giving people credit. Be proud of your friends. It works both ways. If someone is proud of you and sending optimism your way, return the favor. Why not? The 13th, we see Mercury in Virgo opposing the moon in Pisces. So watch your words. You might end up speaking from a place of anger or thoughtlessness, which is just as destructive. On the 14th, we have the moon conjunct Neptune in Pisces. So it's a good day for channeling and mediumship work. It's a good day for manipulating the metaphysical energies that run through the universe. However, you may find it's also too much of a good thing. So check in on your friends that have substance abuse problems or addiction issues because this might be a day where it's overwhelming. Also, if you're an empath, this could be a very challenging, trying day because it might be too much of a good thing. And you might be open to it when you shouldn't be, or you'd rather not. And following that up on the 15th, the moon goes from blended with Neptune and all of those generally good vibes to conjunct Chiron. So, looking at the 14th and 15th, it's really pretty simple. The 14th brings the opportunity for the channeling and the mediumship and the spiritual and psychic development. But then the 15th, when the moon contacts Chiron, it's kind of like you wake up the next day and you say, what the hell did I do the day before? Or, oh shit, I did that the day before. Now I regret it. I'm not going to do it again. So that time from the 13th to the 15th is going to be, it's going to be kind of intense, but you get to dictate how it's going to be intense. Is it going to be intense with spirituality, channeling, mediumship work, or is it going to be intense with burying your head in the sand, living a path of denial, and then waking up on the 15th and realizing the missed opportunities? Only you know how that plays out, but I want to share these thoughts here because we're at the halfway point of the month, and you can see how what I said at the beginning of this is coming to pass. If you're focused inward with the 13th, 14th, and 15th, and you lose yourself, which is or can be a byproduct of the Moon Neptune conjunction in Pisces, then about the middle of the month is going to be the wake up call to pull yourself out of yourself and get back in your body and get back in the physical world that is around us. Now, the 16th, we continue to move on with Moon square Pluto. So watch out for accidents, watch out for short tempers, watch out for violence, depending on where you live. You know, this isn't really talked about a lot in spiritual social circles, and I don't know why, because I live in St. Louis. Watching out for violence, that's just a normal Tuesday afternoon. There are mundane applications of astrology. It's all not white light and sunshine. With the moon squaring Pluto, or really the moon squaring Mars, or the Mars squaring Pluto, or any combination like that, it does hint at the possibility of violence. So don't discount this possibility. If you live in a rough neighborhood, watch your back with any of those days, not just the 16th, but any of those days where we've got hard Mars Moon aspects, or hard Mars Pluto aspects, or hard Moon Pluto aspects, because the potential for violence is there. I usually don't focus on that a lot, because I've kind of got the sense that people don't want to be practical. They don't want to be pragmatic. They want astrology as a tool for mental masturbation. But when you get days like this, oh no, it's a reminder. It's the physical world we live in. We're down here to have a physical experience. So the more we're engaged in life, the more we're living out our spiritual path. We are not down here to try and reconnect with spirit. We're strengthening our connections with spirit through our daily physical life. On the 17th, we've got another moon square, but this time it's to Venus. So you might find that you're torn on how to proceed with your loved ones. You might be torn on how to proceed when it comes to exhibiting your creativity. You might impulsively spend and then regret it later. So kind of watch out for that on the 17th. Moving on to the 18th, we've got the moon conjunct Uranus in Taurus, and usually that means watch out for unexpected emotions that well up within you. Watch out for the unexpected to happen in your daily life when you're out and about. Uranus is the planet of the unexpected. So emotions might well up within you that you thought you had dealt with. Or maybe you turn a corner too quick in your car and you hit a broken piece of the curb. I think you see what I mean here. Don't hurry through things. Be very, very careful. Now, an interesting correspondence of Taurus is that it corresponds to food, much like Cancer does. So when you have the moon conjunct Uranus, watch what you eat. You might get a case of food poisoning. Or you might want to drink your calories for the day and then you pay for it later. So whatever the case may be, whenever Uranus in Taurus is connecting with the moon, it means all the things I just said, but don't forget about your diet. Watch out for that. Moving on to the 20th, we have Mars moving into Gemini and the moon in Gemini sextiling Venus in Leo. So it's a good time to hang out with friends. It's a good time to chat. It's a good time to maybe reach out to people that can further your creative career. It might be a good day. And yes, I'm saying this while it's recorded. It might be a good day to hang out online and just chat with people in the spirit of developing your creativity, or in the spirit of just blowing off some steam. Now, we also have that followed up with the 21st with the moon in Gemini sextiling the sun in Leo, yet opposing Saturn in Aquarius. So what that means is that particular day, the 21st, you might find it's good to follow up from the 20th with the sextiles and the chatting and the hanging out with friends and just having fun. But with the 21st, your attention might be drawn to, okay, it's enough fun, I got to get back to work. Or, I've been working so hard lately, I want this fun to continue. Now, another way to look at the 21st is that you may find that you reevaluate things and you realize that all this time wasting online is not getting you anywhere, and it's time to step back from that and focus on what you need to do for you and for the greater collective. The 22nd, we find Venus and Leo squaring Uranus in Taurus. So the love life might get some monkey wrenches thrown into the works. Also, watch your spending on frivolous goods and activities. The 23rd, the sun moves into Virgo. So shout out to all the Virgos out there. And Uranus in Taurus stations retrograde. So the 22nd, really the 21st, but I'll say the 22nd, the 23rd, the 24th, that could be a time that feels like a mini Mercury retrograde. Or it could be the time where you're looking around at your life and things unexpectedly happen in the physical world, and then you're looking around looking for the next shoe to drop. By the way, toxic view right there. Never look for the second shoe to drop, because as soon as you start looking, you're creating a self-fulfilling prophecy. But those days, basically the 22nd through the 24th, it might be all about the unexpected happening in the physical world. So allow extra time to engage in the physical world. Make sure you've got your backup plans and tertiary plans in place. And then we move on with the 25th with the moon conjunct Venus in Leo. So it's going to be a good time to get romantic. It's going to be a good time to connect with your lovers. It's going to be a good time to engage your creativity. If you're a musician, this is a fantastic day for a show. The 27th brings the new moon in Virgo, and Mercury moves into Libra. So it may feel again like a mini Mercury retrograde for the day, and coupled with the new moon, this could really bring up some deep-seated emotions to the surface, but they're coming up for you to analytically address. It's not going to be a feel-good, woe is me, bury your head in the sand, and go back to daily life. It's going to be, woe is me, what's going on? I've got more work to do than I thought I did. And then you get to work. And getting to work on these themes is a major component of Virgo energy in general. The 29th, we see the moon conjunct Mercury in Libra. So it might be a good day to vent those emotions, dump those emotions, whether it is writing, whether it's talking to friends or talking to a healthcare professional. Ranting and raving would be good, but remember, do it behind closed doors, because as soon as you do it on a digital format, it's public domain, so it can and oftentimes will be used against you. On the 30th, we have Mercury in Libra opposing Jupiter in Aries. So watch your spending in the name of keeping the peace. You might also find this is a good time to reevaluate your money, specifically when it comes to cost-cutting measures. And then finally, the month ends on the 31st with Venus and Leo opposing Saturn in Aquarius, and really that's the other bookend of the month. As I said earlier, this month's theme is all about finding the balance between focusing on the self and focusing on group participation in society at large. We get the beginnings of that with the new moon that just recently occurred, where we take a second look at whether what we're doing is in the spirit of our greatest growth and good, or if it's just self-aggrandizement, or if it is drawing us further away from society. And then on the 31st, those themes that came up with the new moon on the 28th of July come full circle. So some would argue that this means August ends on a down note with a Venus Saturn opposition, but that's not necessarily a bad thing because it's saying all the new moon work that you did on the 28th, you're going to get tested on it at the end of August. And there's nothing wrong with that. We should be tested on our beliefs. We should be tested on the courage of our convictions. You know, a phrase that's been going through my head a lot lately is that smooth seas do not make a skilled sailor. So anytime that your life is rough, anytime your life is challenging, remember this. Easy flowing times don't make strong people. How we handle rough times do. If you're going through a rough period in your life, whether by yourself or with someone, and you find out that the rougher it goes, the more people desert you or don't put the energy into you, they were never serious about you to begin with. And realizing this and working within it is a major part of resolving that Venus-Saturn opposition. Anyway, I hope all this makes sense. As you could tell from when I was doing this, there were a few days where there were no appreciable aspects going on. So that makes August a little bit quieter of a month. But as you can see with the ingresses with Mercury and Venus and Mars, it's still going to be active. So get ready. Now, of course, if you are in the northern hemisphere, happy Lunasa. If you're in the southern hemisphere, happy Imbolg. Either way, it's a light and fire festival. So fire it up, because the end of the year is right around the corner. Anyway, thank you for checking this out. Thank you to Adam Knox and the Cult of You for doing this. And wherever I see you, I see you. Until next month, let's all receive blessings of good health, prosperity, and success as we move forward in the next several weeks of our lives.